The Roman Empire wasn't just a civilization, it was a flex, a fever dream in marble. And somehow it worked. They built roads straighter than your life. Invented concrete we still can't replicate. Taxed urine, made a horse a senator. If you think that's exaggeration, buckle up. Because the deeper you go into Roman history, the more it feels like satire with a state budget. Started small. A bunch of guys on a hill by a river. It's a muddy, irrelevant corner of Italy. They weren't born an empire. They became one. Slowly, brutally, brilliantly. Their army was a machine. Not just swords and shields. Logistics, formations, psychology. Roman soldiers didn't just fight. They marched 20 miles a day in full gear, dug trenches, built fortresses every night, and then fought battles in the morning. They didn't have rest days. They had roads. Over 250,000 miles of them. Paved, marked, maintained, not for peace, for war. They invented the testudo, the tortoise, a formation where shields locked above, in front, to the sides. Arrows bounced off. They moved like one armored creature. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't romantic. It was terrifyingly effective. When they weren't fighting, they were building. Aqueducts, amphitheaters, public baths, systems. They turned villages into cities, forests into provinces, dirt into empire. You'd think with that level of discipline, the leadership would be just as clean-cut. It wasn't. It was chaos in a laurel crown. Julius Caesar gets stabbed 23 times by his co-workers. Caligula appoints his horse to public office. Nero burns part of Rome, then performs poetry while it smolders. Elagabalus replaces the chief Roman god with a sun rock. These aren't stories. They're documented events. The line between emperor and meme was thin. Some were brilliant. Augustus stabilized an entire world. Trajan expanded Rome to its greatest size. Marcus Aurelius journaled his way through philosophy while running an empire. But even the best were one bad ego trip away from disaster. Roman daily life wasn't much less dramatic. Public toilets had no stalls. Just a long bench, holes, and one communal sponge on a stick. Fast food was everywhere. Tiny counters served hot stews, bread and wine on the go, and not fancy wine. Leaded wine. Actual lead, sweetened with poison. It tasted better. Until it didn't. They ate dormice stuffed with honey, brushed their teeth with crushed mouse brains. They cleaned clothes with human urine, and then taxed the urine. Yes, there was a P-tax. Entertainment, if you liked chaos, Rome delivered. The Colosseum wasn't a stadium, it was a blood opera. Gladiators weren't just fighters, they were celebrities. People carved love notes to their favorite warriors into the walls. Some became rich. Most didn't survive. They fought animals, each other, criminals, sometimes entire naval battles. The Romans once flooded the Colosseum just to simulate sea warfare for fun. They didn't invent spectacle. They invented maximum engagement. Religion wasn't calm either. They copied Greek gods, but changed the names. Zeus became Jupiter, Ares became Mars, Aphrodite became Venus. Then they started worshipping emperors. Caesar became divine. Augustus followed. At a certain point, every emperor came with a god package. Conquest and divinity sold as one. They ruled not just through fear, but absorption. You didn't stay conquered. You became Roman. Speak Latin, build Roman, worship Roman, pay Roman. And if you adapted fast enough, you got citizenship. Then your kids joined the army. Then your grandkids were senators. You didn't beat Rome, you joined it. Nice. They taxed everything. Land, slaves, salt, windows, doors, death, birth. If it moved or didn't, it got taxed. The empire ran on bureaucracy so intense, entire classes of scribes existed just to track how many bricks you owned. Rome was the first civilization to turn conquest into policy. They didn't raise every place they took. They restructured it. Roads, walls, trade routes, baths. It wasn't peace, it was order. Peace through total design. And through it all, they talked about virtue, duty, loyalty, glory, law. They built statues to themselves. It's named months after their emperors. Julius Augustus. They wrote everything down. Historians, poets, engineers, Rome documented its own myth in real time. Over time, Rome became too large, too expensive, too slow to react. Barbarians weren't just outsiders. They were former allies, generals, even citizens. The line between Roman and enemy blurred. Power fragmented. Generals fought generals. Armies crowned emperors. One day, assassinated them the next. The city of Rome itself was sacked, once, several times, and yet the empire kept pretending it wasn't dying. The Western Roman Empire finally collapsed in 476 CE, but the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, kept going for another 1,000 years. Rome never really disappeared. It rebranded. Its laws influenced Europe for centuries. Its roads formed the foundation of modern routes. Its buildings inspired Renaissance architects. Its language became French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian. Its calendar is still the one you use. Its myths are still in your movies. Its political structures, republics, senates, checks, and balances, still shape governments. Even its collapse became a metaphor. Every failing empire is compared to Rome. Every strong leader gets called Caesar. Every dramatic downfall is a fall of Rome. Because the Roman Empire wasn't just a government, it was a template, story, a blueprint for power, madness, and legacy. It was brilliant. It was disgusting. It was efficient. It was excessive. It was horrifying. It was human. So when someone says they think about the Roman Empire every day, maybe that's not weird. Maybe it's muscle memory. Civilization remembering one of its first great experiments. 1 part order, 1 part chaos. All parts unforgettable. Rome didn't last forever, but it aimed to, and in some ways, maybe it did.